Ah, there she is. Obviously not the ideal place to store your road bike, but when I bought this thing, I didn't realize that you don't get kickstands for road bikes. Apparently that's a big no-go. I even asked the shop owner when I bought the bike, what about a kickstand? I should probably get one of those, right? And he said, not unless you want to get laughed at. Apparently the road bike racing culture is pretty serious. But I did it, guys. I pulled the trigger. I am officially signed up for the 70.3 Ironman in Wilmington, happening October 19th this year. That's like a little less than 3 months from now, which means I have a little less than 3 months to get myself right for this event. Even though I'm no stranger to endurance, and you guys who have watched this channel for some time now would definitely know that, I am more of a long distance runner, ruck marsher, muscular endurance kind of guy. I am not somebody who just goes out and swims on the regular. I don't even bike normally, okay? Those are two things that are very foreign to me. I don't train those normally, and I can swim. I'm a guy that can swim, but I definitely would not say I'm a strong swimmer. So that's gonna be fun. But check it out, guys. As I'm going through this train up, I'm gonna make it my mission to vlog as much as I possibly can for the entire process, to give you guys an inside look on some of the things that I'm gonna have to learn as I'm making my way through this train up. When it comes to training, for the swimming, for the biking, for the running even, doing brick workouts. That's a new term for me, brick workouts. The gear, what am I gonna learn about the gear? What kind of gear am I gonna need? What are some of the lessons I'm gonna have to go through to get things right, to make sure I'm using the right gear? And I've only just started purchasing gear to include this bike here about a week ago, and already I've racked up about probably coming up on $2,000 worth of equipment, and I know I'm gonna need even more to get myself ready appropriately for this event. Luckily, Roka is actually sponsoring me with a wetsuit, a tri-suit, some shades, and some goggles, so that's gonna save me a whole bunch of money. Thanks to them for that, and I will definitely show you guys all about that equipment once that actually comes in the mail and we get some swimming done in it, you know what I mean? Long story short, I know it's gonna be quite the train up, and hopefully some of the lessons that I learned can be passed down to you guys as something beneficial for you, whether you're training up for a triathlon yourself for the first time, maybe you're an experienced person doing this, or you're just looking for some extra motivation. Hopefully this whole vlog journey will be useful to you. But today, we are going to be testing out the brand new bike. This is the Giant Contend, and it is a entry-level road bike. I got this, and then I also got aero bars already outfitted with the bike itself. It is a pretty basic bike. I didn't want to go too crazy with what I was doing for the first time. Didn't want to break the bank, didn't want to get anything that was like outside of my skill level, but I wanted to make sure that I got a bike that was going to see me through the event. I wanted to make sure I had something appropriate, okay? This thing cost me about $800 just by itself, and that was before we added the aero bars, before I got the fitting, and before I got the road kit. And this is just a safety kit in case I blow a tire, which I'm sure I probably will at one point, and that should be a fun experience. I went to a local bike shop, got as much information as I possibly can from the guy, and then ended up with this, all right? And I feel pretty confident that this is the right bike for me. I feel pretty confident that this is the right choice for what I'm trying to do and for where my journey begins. And on that note, you guys might have noticed that in the community section, I talked about how there was a few people that have already laughed at me once I told them that I was gonna be doing the 70.3 Ironman in 3 months. Well, one of those guys was the first bike shop owner that I went to locally here. Walked in, I explained my situation, said, hey, I'm not really trained up, but I'm looking to train up within 3 months for a 70.3 Ironman in Wilmington. I got 3 months to get this done. I need a bike, but I don't know anything about bikes. Him and his friend, as soon as I got done spitting that out, just started like bursting out laughing in my face. It was actually really rude, guys. You would have been pretty surprised. I think most people would have just been beside themselves by that and just walked right out, but I just kind of kept to myself, sort of laughed it off, brushed it off. I garnered as much information from that guy as I possibly could on bikes, and then I just left the shop without buying a thing, and I probably will never return there or buy anything from that man. But I did leave there with some free information, so joke's on you, guy. But back to the shop that actually treated me well. I also left there with a bike fitting, which was really cool. That was a cool experience. Took about an hour to an hour and a half to just get this bike appropriately fitted to me as a person, right? Because everybody has different characteristics with their body. Definitely recommend doing that if you're looking at buying a road bike. I also got some bike shoes. These shoes come with cleat lock-ins. I think I'm saying the right thing, but these lock in to the pedals here so that your feet don't slide around. They won't remove themselves from the pedals as you're riding. So that's gonna save me a lot of energy as I'm on the bike. And apparently that's just what you're supposed to do with these road bikes when you're using them for triathlons or if you're racing, right? So I did the right thing. And then I also got myself some riding shorts. These are just compression shorts with a pad, like a diaper pad, in the crotch area, which is pretty cool. So if I take that out, you can see it's padded in the form of a bike seat. And from what I understand, I'm definitely gonna need one of these as I'm putting all the miles in during my train up. So I got one of these, and I'll probably end up buying a few more of these throughout the months. And as I mentioned before, I do have a tri-suit coming in the mail, so that'll be pretty cool. Once I get that, I'm gonna put that through a test run to see how it fits and see how it feels on the bike. But I think for now, instead of going with a jersey, since it's like super hot out here in North Carolina still, I'll probably do the majority of my riding with something like this, just like a tank top. All right, just to try to keep cool until I change my mind. Maybe I'll go with a jersey or something, but that's what I'm going with for now. Also, I'm vlogging like this in the hopes that some of you guys that are watching out there may have experience with this kind of thing. And please, by all means, offer me any tips or tricks that you have through experience that you know as a professional, that you know is gonna help me throughout this train up, because I am literally starting from nothing. I have no idea what I'm doing, which is exciting, right? But it just means that I'm gonna go through a lot of pain until I get it right. So I am more than happy to listen to you guys. If you have any advice to give me, please don't hesitate to do that. Drop it in the comments. I make sure to read all the comments. I've already taken this bike for a test run. Actually, the day I bought it, I came home and just went for like a 45-minute ride on the bike just because I couldn't wait to get on it. So this is my second time riding the bike today. It's still not part of my official train up. I don't start training up for another couple days. It's just a weekend, but I had some spare time and I really couldn't wait to start this vlog off. So today we're gonna be going on a ride with the new bike. I know the more time I get on this thing, the better it's gonna be for me, right? Don't wanna overtrain, but I definitely need to get used to riding this bike, and I need to identify any alterations I need to make to the bike as I'm doing my training, and honestly, any more attachments that I'm gonna need. I already know I'm gonna need a couple more attachments for, you know, little lickies and chewies as I'm out there on the event. But hey, for now, look how I got my GoPro set up. This is just for you guys, right? I gotta ghetto rig that on there. I think it's gonna be nice and sturdy, and it should get some pretty good shots. I guess we'll see. This will be its first test run. I'm gonna see if I can get some pretty good shots for you guys. All right, I'm gonna get changed into my riding gear now. So I got these rider shoes, and the guy at the store told me you can wear these with your socks or without your socks, and I'm pretty hesitant to wear these without socks. I'll have to try it one of these days. So far, I mean, this is only my second time using them, I have been leaving my socks on for these. But with the riding shorts, I was told also to not wear any underwear with your riding shorts, so we are freeballing it right now. Apparently it's meant to compress to your skin, and if you wear underwear, it can cause chafing and other uncomfortable things, so we wouldn't want that happening to us. We're just gonna freeball it. All right, so here we are. This is how we're starting our riding journey. It's an awkward feel, right? Definitely not used to this sort of equipment, but you know, it is what it is. We'll get used to it sooner or later. Got my helmet, went with a large size, I don't know, laser helmet. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. That's what the guy recommended, that's what I got. Apparently this is a one-time use helmet, right? So it's super light, but if the inside, if I ever did actually fall off and use this helmet in the way it's meant to be used, it falls apart and breaks on the inside automatically, like it's meant to do that, and so it won't be good anymore. So I really have a good incentive not to fall off the bike. Other than just hurting myself, I will have to buy a new helmet if that happens, so don't want to fall off. I'm going to be out there for an hour, so I put some multidextrin in here, about 250 calories worth of multidextrin in my water, and that's really because I just want to have ease of being able to refuel as I'm out there. I don't want to have to be fumbling around with a whole bunch of stuff. I know eventually I'll have to have some gel packets and things like that, but for now I'm just riding for an hour. 250 calories worth of carbs should do me just fine. I'll just keep it in one container, and honestly right now on my bike I don't have any storage pockets or anything like that so far, so this is what I got to work with. So we're gonna make it work. All right. So I am gonna keep track of this on my phone, on my Strava app, just so that I can get used to keeping track of my rides and how I perform. I also do plan on getting a riding computer, or at least like an attachment for my phone so I can pay attention to that as I'm riding, but for now I don't have that. So for now I'm just gonna set it and then put it in, I only have a pocket, so I'm just gonna kind of put it in my like in my compression shorts, like right here, so it doesn't go anywhere or fall out. And I'm just gonna ride with it. I'm gonna ride a half hour out down a road that I know is gonna be clear enough for me to ride and I don't get run over, hopefully. And then once I hit that half hour, I'll just turn around and I'll see what happened. Luckily, this isn't a training workout. I do have things in the mail coming that's gonna help me to make sure I get my training on point, but for now, we're just having some fun. So I'm gonna attach you guys to the bike now, and hopefully we'll get some good shots. All right. I can tell you already, I'm gonna need a new GoPro mount for this if I'm gonna try to get any good shots for you guys here in the future, but this should do for now. Here we go. In, we're on. See if I can dismount appropriately. One foot first, catch yourself, second foot after. Oh, we'll get better at that. So you can see already a lot of learned lessons, a lot of things to work on and improve on already. All right, let me dismount this camera real quick, which obviously had its own set of issues. You guys saw that. All right, so obviously you can see there were some issues with the camera there. So that mount, although pretty good for a rigged job, right? I could only point the camera towards me or in front of the bike. So that limited our sphere of viewership, right? So I did take it off at one point, but that was real pain. There's no way I can continue to do it that way. So I'll have to get a different mount so we can get some good content during this journey, right? A couple other things I learned on that fun ride. First of all, I know for a fact that I should not be locking out my elbows. I was starting off with the hesitancy of locking out my elbows as I was riding, but that got tiring real quick. So I need to get used to the habit of leaving some looseness in my elbows and just leaning into the bike and just trusting that that's the way it needs to be. So I think in order to get better at that, I need to continue to work on core work, get stronger in the core. And I would also say that when I use the aero bars, that feels pretty comfortable. I think I'm hesitant to make any adjustments right now. I think in the future, I'll look at moving the pads up and maybe even the aero bars a little forward, a little more forward, but I want to keep riding it and make sure that that's the right way to go for now. But I noticed that I do feel comfortable using the aero bars, but anytime I want to look behind me, you know, that's pretty sketchy. And at one point I tried it, I looked real quick and I almost spun out of control and almost fell. So I'll definitely be more careful with that. And I think at least for training purposes, I'll invest in like a little rear view mirror or something like that, just so I can see. Because I don't know if you guys can tell out there, but there are a lot of cars whizzing right by me, going like 55 to 60 miles an hour, and it's a little nerve-wracking. So we want to be safe out there. Another thing I noticed, I definitely need to work on my hydration apparatus. Can't just be used in water bottles like this, because I need two hands to undo it, right? So, you know, I adapted, overcame, I used my mouth and stuff. You guys saw that, but obviously I don't want to be doing that anymore. I have heard of these apparatuses that you can put up on your handlebars where you can just fill them there, they stay there, and you can just suck on the tube as you're riding. So honestly, that's probably a good idea for this. Seat wasn't bad. I think over time I'll definitely want to invest in a better seat. This isn't bad for a starter seat, but you know, I guess, you know, it is a starter seat. It did come with the bike, so I'll probably want a little bit better of a seat just to give my ass a little bit more cushion. The shorts were pretty legit. Honestly, I feel pretty good. I don't feel too sore. My lower back feels a little sore, but I think that's to be expected for a new rider, right? I hope. You guys let me know. My lower back was getting a little tight on me. I had to stand up a couple times to like let it, you know, loosen back up. It was starting to hurt a little bit, but you know, maybe that'll just get better with time. I'm not sure. We'll have to pay attention to that. My phone, okay, obviously, I'm gonna wanna make sure to get like a phone mount or something like that. I already have one coming in the mail. I didn't like that I had to keep it in, you know, in the back, because if I wanted to like check on progress or even change songs and music, you know, I couldn't, right? So, but here's how we did today. Went for a little over an hour. You have to account for like the start and the finish of me getting on and off the bike, right? Because I put this away. But it looks like we have an average speed of 60 miles an hour. Probably a little tad bit faster than that, just because you account for the non-movement time there. But not too bad, right? 18 miles, that's pretty legit. 18 miles in an hour. That's a lot further than what I would normally do on a run, right? So I kind of like this biking thing. You get to see a lot more scenery out there during your workout. Another thing that happened to me was my headphones. I was using earbuds without the around the ear piece, and one of them actually did fall out at one point on my way back. It actually caught in here in my ghetto rigged apparatus, and I thought I was good, but then when I went to grab it, it fell down and off, so I had to get off the bike real quick and grab that. Obviously, that's not something we want to do in the future, so I'll make sure to wear the appropriate headphones. Another thing I noticed is my eye pro, right? My glasses. Definitely want to get a pair of glasses that does not have as much like frame around here, because I'm looking like this a lot of times as I'm riding, and I think that's right. I think that's how I'm gonna end up being. You guys let me know, but this is kind of how I'm looking. So I'm just barely having enough field of view to see in front of me enough to get out of the way of obstacles, but the frame was in my way. So a lot of times I tilted my glasses down so I could see. Don't want to have to do that. And the same thing goes with my field of view to the sides, right? When I'm looking to the side like that, I have a frame right here that's in the way. So we want to get frameless shades for the future. And the way I was pedaling, I was just free riding, right? I wasn't really trying to stay to any sort of, you know, RPM or anything like that, or heart rate or anything like that. I was just kind of going for it. But it feels like, and you guys with experience, let me know, it feels like the way I should be pedaling is more of a up and down motion rather than like a circular motion. I need to focus on just going up, down, and just relying on the cleats to hold my feet against the pedals. That's what felt best for me. So hopefully that's the right way to go. You guys let me know if you know. And last thing I noticed, that when I take the corners, at first I was keeping my foot that I was keeping the corner in down, if that makes sense. So if I was taking a left turn, I would keep my left foot down on the pedals. For some reason I had this hesitancy to do that, but it felt like when I was doing that I was chancing the bike actually like skidding out, I guess, a little bit. It just felt like it wasn't as tight to the ground as it should be. So I switched that up where my other foot was down against the position on where I was turning. So if I was turning left, then my right foot would be all the way down and my left foot would be up on the turn, and that felt a lot better. I think it was like helping the rubber of the tire stick to the ground a little better, putting a little more pressure on it. It felt like the turns were a lot more comfortable once I started doing it that way. So that was another lesson learned too on the fly. Besides that, guys, there's a lot more work I got to do on this thing. I mean, I feel pretty good physically. I feel like this is not going to be, the bike event won't be too much of an issue for me. It's really just getting the technique down, mitigating any of the pains and sorenesses that I can, so that I can continue the rest of the race as best as possible, because there's still a whole half a marathon after I get done with the swim and the bike to do to finish the half Ironman, right? So I have to make sure as I get as much right as possible to maximize my performance. And we'll keep on keeping on, we'll keep training, and we'll keep figuring things out as we go. And I hope you guys stick along for the journey with me. Again, I got 3 months of train up. I'm gonna take as much vlogging content as I possibly can during the train up itself. So hope you guys are looking forward to that. I definitely am looking forward to that. Again, if you guys have any tips, tricks, comments, Or if you just want to show your support and root for me, please don't hesitate to drop that in the comments for me. I'm really looking forward to this. I always like a good challenge, and this is definitely going to be a solid challenge for me, so it's going to be awesome. But for now, I'm gonna get out of these clothes, stretch out a little bit, get some water and some food. Looking forward to the rest of the train up. I got nothing else for you, and I will see you on the next one.